Greetings of the day class, this is Miss Tabassum and today we are going to start a new chapter of English literature, that is Partition, which is written by Gulzar. The real name of Gulzar is Sampurn Singh Kalra and he was born in 1934. Gulzar is an Indian poet, lyricist, scriptwriter, storyteller and film director. He is a recipient of the Sahitya Akademi Award, the Padma Bhushan and the Dada Saheb Phalke Award. He was also awarded an Oscar in 2008, jointly with A.R. Rahman for the song Jai Ho in Slumdog Millionaire. The same song won him a Grammy Award in 2010. Gulzar has also won several National Film Awards and Filmfare Awards. The name Gulzar is actually the pseudonym or the pen name of Sampurn Singh Kalra. Now, let's come to the title of the chapter, that is Partition. Partition basically means the division of one country into two or more countries. Here, the partition of British India into India and Pakistan. In this chapter, we'll be reading about partition and also how it affects the lives of many till date. As you know, that some present-day countries were also a part of India before 1947. It was in 1947 that India got independence. It was also in this year when British India was divided into two parts, that is India and Pakistan. Many people from Pakistan, they crossed the border to come to India and vice versa. Here in this piece of writing, Mr. Gulzar talks about the events of 1947 and how it affected the lives of many. This particular topic is an extract from Gulzar's book, which is entitled as Footprints on Zero Line. This particular book, Footprints on Zero Line, is an assimilation of fiction, non-fiction and poems. So, before we move on to the chapter, let's come to the characters of this particular topic. Gulzar, Harbhajan Singh, Mrs. Harbhajan Singh, Iqbal Singh, Dilshad or Satya, Zamindar, whose name is Afzal Chacha, and Ayaz. Mr. Harbhajan Singh and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh, they are husband and wife. Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh thinks that Gulzar was their lost son who was separated from them during the partition of 1947. Sampuran was the name given by Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh and they used to call him Punni during his childhood days. Iqbal Singh is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh. Dilshad or Satya is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh. It is said by Mr. Harbhajan Singh that Gulzar and Dilshad, that is Sampuran and Satya, they got separated from them during the partition when they were migrating from Pakistan to India. When Dilshad got separated or when Satya got separated, she stayed with a Muslim family and later on when she grew up, she got married with a Muslim man and she had two sons. One is in the Pakistan Air Force and the other has a good job in Karachi. The Zamindar, whose name is Mr. Afzal and whom Harbhajan Singh used to call Afzal Chacha because he was the friend of Mr. Harbhajan Singh's father. And Ayaz is the son of the Zamindar, that is Mr. Afzal, and the friend of Mr. Harbhajan Singh. So let's move to the classwork, that is Let's read the chapter. It was sometime in the year 1984-85 that a certain gentleman named Iqbal Singh, a professor, used to write to me, saying I was his brother who had been lost during the partition. After the first few letters, I wrote him a long letter explaining that I was in Delhi living with my parents and I hadn't lost any siblings during the communal riots of those days. Yes. So here the narrator or the author, that is Mr. Gulzar, he is narrating an incident that has happened in the year 1984-1985. That is, one man who was a professor, he used to write to him, to Mr. Gulzar, saying that his name was Iqbal Singh and that Mr. Gulzar was his lost brother who got separated during the partition. Mr. Iqbal Singh wrote many letters. After his letters, Mr. Gulzar finally wrote him a long letter and he explained him that Gulzar was in Delhi and he lived with his parents and that he hadn't lost any siblings during the communal riot. Sibling means any brothers or sister. Gulzar said that he hadn't lost any brothers or sisters during the riot, that is the violent conflict that took place in those days. Communal riot means it is a conflict between people of different religions or communities. Despite this, Iqbal Singh remained convinced that I was his long lost brother and kept writing. Eventually, I stopped answering. After some time, the letters stopped coming. So, Iqbal Singh was very much convinced and very firm in his belief that Mr. Gulzar was his long lost brother and he kept on writing letters to him. But Mr. Gulzar finally stopped answering him. And as a result of that, the letters also stopped coming from the side of Mr. Iqbal Singh. A year must have passed when Sai Paranjpi, the filmmaker, sent me a message saying that a certain gentleman from Delhi called Harbhajan Singh wished to meet me. So he has already stopped answering to the letters of Iqbal Singh. Now suddenly Mr. Gulzar, he got a telephonic message that one man whose name is Harbhajan Singh, he wanted to meet Gulzar. And this message was given by Sai Paranjpi, who was a filmmaker. A month later, I got a telephone call from Mrs. Dandavati, a former finance minister's wife. She told me that Harbhajan Singh, a civil supplies minister in Punjab who lived in Delhi, wished to meet me because he thought I was his son whom he had lost during the partition. I told her I shall be coming to Delhi and I can meet him then. So, after that incident of Mr. Sai Paranjpi, he again got a telephone call from Mrs. Dandavati, who was the wife of the former finance minister of India then. And she told to Gulzar that Harbhajan Singh, a man named Harbhajan Singh, who was a civil supplies minister. Civil supplies means the government department that governs the supplies of things. So he was a minister in that government department. And he was in Punjab and now he lived in Delhi and he wished to meet him because Mr. Harbhajan Singh thought that Gulzar was his lost son whom they lost during the partition. So, Mr. Gulzar said Mrs. Dandavate that he would be coming to Delhi and then he could meet him. I went to Delhi in January. That was the time I met Harbhajan Singh, his eldest son Iqbal, and other family members at their residence. So, Gulzar went to Delhi in January. There he met Harbhajan Singh and his son Iqbal. You remember Iqbal? Iqbal, as I said he was the son of Harbhajan Singh and who used to write letters to Gulzar saying that he was his lost brother. So he met Harbhajan Singh, Iqbal and the other family members who were at the residence that time. Harbhajan Singh Sahib met me with great affection. So, with great love, he met Gulzar. He introduced me to the mother, that is, Mrs. Harbhajan Singh. Mr. Harbhajan Singh introduced Gulzar to Mrs. Harbhajan Singh. This is your mother. And he said that this was Mr. Gulzar's mother. And then he narrated the story. And so here Mr. Harbhajan Singh starts telling his own story that how and why he thinks that Gulzar was their long lost son who got separated during the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. There were terrible riots, fires raged all around and scorched in those flames. News and gossips reached us, but we stayed put. The zamindar, being a friend of my father's, was kindly disposed towards us. The entire Kasbah knew that till he was there, no one could even knock on our door at an inappropriate hour. See the very first line. There were terrible riots. As I have already said riots means violent conflicts between the people. It might be between people of different religions or communities. As I have already said that British India was partitioned into India and Pakistan in 1947 when the country won independence. And this particular partition, it led to riots, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and a big wave of migration. Millions of people moved to what they hoped would be a safer place for them, with Muslims heading to Pakistan and Hindus and Sikhs to India. So, here Harbhajan Singh is actually mentioning that time, that there were terrible riots. So during the riots, what happened? Fire spread everywhere. It was burning. The country was fully burning. News were there, horrible news, gossips. People were talking about this and that. But they remained calm. The family of Harbhajan remained calm. Why? Because the Jamindar, being a friend of my father's, was kindly disposed towards us. So the Zamindar, that is Mr. Afzal, he was a friend of Mr. Harbhajan Singh's father. And thus the Zamindar was very favorable to the Harbhajan Singh's family. And the entire Kasbah. Kasbah means it's an Urdu word for town. And the people of the town, they knew that till the Zamindar support was there, nobody would even dare to knock at their door in an improper hour. So nobody could even dare to harm them. His son Ayaz used to study with me in school. So Mr. Harbhajan Singh is saying that his son, means Mr. Zamindar Afzal's son Ayaz, used to study with Mr. Harbhajan Singh in school. Still, we would be terrified when the caravans travelling from hinterland passed through our Kasbah. It means that the Zamindar son Ayaz and Harbhajan Singh, they were friends. Still, they would be very terrified when the caravans, that is the people, the group of people, they were traveling together from the hinterland, passed through our kasbah, we would quail from within. So they would be very much terrified, petrified, very much in shock. Whenever the group of people, they used to travel from far away from the main cities to the other places, from through their kasbah, through their town, we would quail from within. So seeing this, so many people moving, they would feel very scared. The zamindar would come every day and bolster our courage. But the zamindar, Mr. Afzal, was a very good man, and he would come every day and would tell Harbhajan Singh and his family that they should remain calm, and he used to boost their courage that nothing would happen. Here, Harbhajan Singh is saying, he treated my wife like his own daughter. That is, Mr. Afzal treated Mr. Harbhajan Singh's wife like his own daughter. Our oldest son, Iqbal, was named by him. And that his elder son, that is Iqbal, he was also being given the name Iqbal by the zamindar, that is Mr. Afzal. We'll be continuing with this story, but before we wind up, here is the word meaning, that is the classwork. Partition, the division of one country into two or more countries. Siblings, brothers or sisters. Communal rights, violent conflicts between people of different religions or communities. Civic supplies, the government department that governs the supply of things. Affection, fondness or liking. Raged, spread very quickly. Scorched, burnt. Inappropriate, improper. Caravans, groups of people traveling together. Hinterland, areas of a country that are far away from the main cities. Quail, to feel scared, to tremble. Bolster, to boost, encourage. This is the classwork, and here goes the homework. Catastrophe, a disaster. Traitor, a person who is not loyal. Contingent, a group of soldiers that are part of a larger force. Frantically, in a hurried, disorganized way. Commotion, a state of confused and noisy disturbance. Pilgrimage, a journey to a holy place. Condolences, sympathies for someone who has lost a family member. Escort, to accompany. And acknowledge, to accept that something is true. Thank you.